Well, Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Jimoh Moshood, is still with us in the studio. And people definitely are responding to some of the things you have said. They've asked me, Oluwatosin here wants me to ask Mr. Jimoh why the Nigeria police disrupted the PDP rally and shot tear gas into Ekiti State Government House. Dr. Austin West says, why deploy so much police personnel for an election when they're needed in troubled states? Ibube Chukwu Jeku says, the Nigeria police is more interested in protecting ballot boxes and not Nigerian lives. Has the police ever deployed 30,000 men in Benue Plateau, Adamawa, Taraba, Sokoto, etc.? These are some of the questions that Nigerians are asking. How do you respond to, let's even just take one, the fact that you say that the Nigeria police has never been involved in any election malpractice. Some people will say, well, we see this in every election, and still people go to the courts to contest the results of these elections. In many instances, they believe that, you know, the intimidation sometimes covers up a lot of things, and that's the reason why we don't get to see credible or fair results at the end of the day.
No, I think it would be wrong for anybody to jump to that assumption, because there's tendency for every context election, whether local government, state, or federal, somebody will win and somebody will lose. And anybody that is about to lose or has lost will look for one way or the other to look for blame game. We want to assure people of Ekiti State that we are not a political party. We are very, very political, and we are going to ensure a secure environment for them, for the wish and the will of the people to prevail. That is what is important. For somebody that was saying 30,000, I think I've answered exhaustively, because one single election is very, very important. Every election is important. But when you have one going on, there's tendency for influence, because outside the deployment of the 30,000 personnel is to take care of all the identified threats. But the contiguous state to Ekiti State, such as Kogi, Kwara, Osun, and Ondo State, the Commissioner of Police have been on the alert there to prevent influx of thugs and miscreants to Ekiti State. But when a political party that is working on some certain permutation to be able to sway the will of the people and bring their intention to fruition, has seen that it's not going to work for them, there's tendency for them to use every platform to try to run down the effort of the force.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think the question was more, why do you deploy so many men for an election, but not so many when there is a security threat in states?
Every state in this country have a command, have area commands. As we speak, the Inspector General of Police have just added, on the approval of the President and Commander-in-Chief of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 80 more divisional headquarters. And in addition, we have 3 new divisional headquarters in Kaduna State, making 83, to make it widespread. And police personnel in this command are working. And like if you take Plateau, for example, we have more than 1,000 police mobile force personnel with the Operation Safe Haven in Plateau State, and they've been working. We've sectorized the state. But when you have when you have incident of crime, it's for everybody to join hand. It's not only the responsibility of the police. People, the citizens too, should come up and assist the police in getting to the root of it.
We quickly have to go to Lagos now and take a question from Chamberlain.
Seen in some previous elections is, perhaps let me just ask you directly. These policemen that have been deployed to Ekiti, has the police provided transportation for them? Because what we see is when they get to those states, they take or begin to take vehicles that the electoral officials are supposed to use, and that contributes to delaying the movement of some of those electoral officials. Do they have their own vehicles?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chamberlain. I think it's the other way around. 250 patrol vehicles have been deployed by the IGP for these elections. And outside that, these contingents of police personnel that were drawn from various commands and various formations equally have the vehicle that brought them in for the operation. So I think it's the other way around, and I don't want you to drag me into that, where we have motorized patrol, then we have vehicle available for our personnel to be able to discharge their duty, and they are going to be there on time before even the election. So there's no worry whatsoever about the logistical movement of the personnel. The issue equally is about the allowances which have been paid. The allowances meant for all the personnel for this election have been paid by government, and they have started receiving the alert. As at yesterday, virtually everybody have received the alert, except those who have 1 or 2 problems with the account number and which have been collated and addressed. So before the end of the day, those few personnel that have not received the alert will definitely get them.
go there, so you had to respond to that one. All right, then. So, secondly, are they supposed to have parades in the morning? For instance, I mean, some recs tell us previously that when the policemen are supposed to accompany them to those polling areas, some of them will tell you, no, we have to do a police parade first before they then go. So, should there be any parade this time, or they should just go ahead, join them, and move?
You know, if you allow me to run down, we have a Deputy Inspector General of Police in Ekiti State, assisted by an Assistant Inspector General of Police. We have 4 Commissioner of Police. Outside the Commissioner of Police that is on ground in Ekiti State, we have 8 Deputy Commissioner of Police and 18 Assistant Commissioner of Police. These are supervisors to ensure that they carry out, they implement fully the security arrangement that is meant for the election. So if any policeman is talking, because there's tendency for any supervisor to want to muster his men, not necessarily an outright parade of moving right, left, and center, is to muster them, to brief them on their responsibility, and to equally read in a word of caution to them. You know, there's no doubt there's a guideline for policing elections, and that has to be sounded in their mind all the time. But as we speak, the distribution of the material, movement of the material has commenced, and we provided security coverage for those movements. And the virtually all the material have got into the local government, and it is through the effort of the police in securing those material. Because at times, difficult terrains are there, and our policemen are already deployed and they are on ground.